So it's March 1980, and my wife Anna and I are just leaving our motel in Orlando, Florida, and we're heading for a short drive to the happiest place on earth. We're going to Disney World. Now, I have to tell you that it's with a little bit of trepidation that I'm making this journey today because I'd always thought of Disney World as a place with no allure for childless adults, as we were at that time, because this is the before Chris time of our lives. But recently, Anna had come home from work and had told me that she had a couple of friends. They have no children. They went to Disney World, and they loved it. They had a grand time. So I said, well, I love Anna. I want to make her happy. So let's go to Disney World. So here we are. So it's been a bit of a long drive to Disney World, even though it's only 10 kilometers, because everybody else in Central Florida is heading to the same place, I find out. And we get to the gates of Disney World, we enter the parking lot, there's this vast sea of cars, and I find a parking spot, I get out, and way over in the distance is the entry booth where we're to buy our tickets. And I'm thinking, my goodness, that's a long way away. But not to worry, because Disney has us covered. A trolley pulls up almost immediately. We get on the trolley. But before it leaves, the trolley driver says, and gives us a great piece of advice. He says, now, I want y'all to know and remember where y'all's parked. Y'all's parked in Goofy 6. And I thought, Goofy 6. Now, you know that adults drove all these cars here. So can't you? And then I thought, no, now you're getting negative. Let's keep this all positive, because this is a day. In fact, it's going to be 2 days of marvelous Disney World. So we get on, the trolley takes us there, we get into the lineup for the tickets. I get 2 of the most expensive books of tickets. Enough tickets to last us for 2 marvelous days in Disney World, and we head to our first attraction, which is the Nautilus. And this is a ride based on Jules Verne's classic novel, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I know Anna read that book as a child, and she loved it. And I saw the movie, and the Nautilus in the movie was amazing. I just could hardly wait to get in there. And so we get up, we get to the line, and there's a sign that says, from this point, you are 45 minutes from the ride. And I'm thinking, oh dear, that's a bit of a problem, because you see, my body is a finely tuned machine. It needs an almost constant intake of food. And not only that, it needs to know with a high degree of certainty that there's a restroom readily available. And I know that in this 45 minutes, there's going to be neither of those. But I'm ready to take one for the team here, because I want to make this the best day possible. So the line gets there, we get onto the Nautilus, and as soon as I get in the Nautilus, I realize this Nautilus is not the Nautilus I saw when I was a kid. It's a tube with a bench in the middle of it, and with portholes. And we start off, and within 10 seconds, I realize that the Disney Imagineers had figured something out about marine flora. It can be summarized in 2 words: fish swim. And what that means is that, you know, if there were real fish swimming in the ocean, there was a chance you could go through the whole Nautilus ride and not see a fish. Well, Disney had figured out a way to solve that. Take out all the real fish and tether plastic fish to the floor of the ocean that just happened to be coincidentally at porthole level, so that when we go by, we can see the fish out of the porthole. And because plastic fish would have no appreciation whatsoever for real marine flora, then there's plastic flora that goes along with it too, in garish colors. So I'm thinking, oh, this isn't very good, but I seem to be the only person who feels this way, because there are adults who are looking and they're saying, oh my goodness, isn't this wonderful? Look at that, isn't that beautiful? And I'm saying, no, it's fake. This is fake. You, you see that fish there that's hanging from a tether? It's fake. All of that marine flora, it's fake. And you see that octopus down there that's waving its tentacle and winking at you? That's a fake octopus. I look down and there's this little 6-year-old boy who's sort of squeezed out on the bench and he can't see out of either porthole and he's looking a little forlorn and I say, would you like to switch places for me and with me and you can see out the portholes and I'll just sit like this in the middle of the bench and let it all go by. And finally the ride ends and I say, well, that didn't go as well as I thought, but let's stay positive. Lunch, restroom, bodily needs met. Now let's head out to the next attraction. The next attraction is called It's a Small World. Now, It's a Small World involves another boat. I love boats. It's in a mountain, and there's a river through the mountain, and the boat goes through the river. And then on the sides, in the interior of the mountain, are dolls dressed in international costumes that are in teacups that spin around and sing It's a Small World After All. And they keep doing that. And they are representing the international world of children, at least as Disney saw them. So, you know, you have kimono dolls, you have Native American dolls, you have all sorts of dolls in various costumes. And the Small World, after all, is playing around, and I'm jammed in with 60 other people on this boat, and I'm saying, oh, this is not going very well. But there's only, how long can it be? There's only 10 minutes of this ride. And right in the middle of the mountain, the boat stops. There's been a Disney malfunction. The boat stops, and it stays there, stopped, for half an hour. But the problem is that the dolls, they didn't stop. So they're still spinning. And the song, It's a Small World After All, keeps playing over and over in there. And I'm going like this, and there's a lot, and everybody's getting kind of very annoyed, me most of all. And I'm just going like this. And then finally, the boat starts to go. We're just about out, and despite it, I could not stop myself. I knew I shouldn't say this, but I turned to Anna and I said, this is the worst day of my life. We get out, I say, that's it. That's enough Disney World for me. And Anna said, yeah, I get it. Let's go. So we get on the trolley, back to Goofy 6, back to our rent-a-car, out to our motel, and just as we're pulling in, I notice that there's a family pulling in. A mom, a dad, and 2 children, and they're obviously going to Disney World. So I go up to Dad, and I say, you going to Disney World tomorrow? And he says, yes, I am. We are. And I say, well, here are 2 almost unused books of tickets. Why don't you take them and your family can enjoy them? And he was so grateful that this random act of kindness had occurred from this total stranger. But the truth is, I was grateful to him because he took the weight of Disney World right off my shoulders by taking these. So as I was thinking about this later on, and thinking about, well, what are the takeaways of this day? What did I learn? Well, I learned 3 things. First of all, if a foreign agent ever wanted me to spill all of Canada's state secrets, all they would have to do would be to play It's a Small World After All, and I would crumble within 10 seconds. Secondly, if a day at an amusement park is the worst day of my life, then my life's been pretty blessed. And thirdly, all Disney welcome signs should be rewritten, and they should go like this. Welcome to Disney World, the happiest place on earth. No adults admitted unless accompanied by a child under 12. Thanks for listening to my story.